In today's theory lesson, we're going to be looking at key signatures and keys in music. Now, a key signature or a key is basically a way of telling you what notes you are allowed to use, what notes sound good. The vast majority of pieces of music will have a key, okay? It'll be based around notes which sound good together. Now, you get some genres of music, if it's all percussion based, it won't have a key signature because it's percussion based and keys is to do with what notes sound good together. But you've also got a genre of music called serialism from the early 20th century, which we don't study, but it's about making music which doesn't have a key signature, which is all about using every note there is. And we call that atonal music, where there is no key signature. But we're looking at pieces of music which do have key signatures. So we're looking at pieces of music which do have a key. Like I said, a key is just telling you what notes work well together, what notes sound good together. And the pieces of music which do have a key will stick to those notes, because as soon as you start playing a note which doesn't fit in with that key, it will sound wrong, it will sound bad. Okay, there are some exceptions to that, but for the time being, if you use notes outside of the key signature, the piece of music will sound bad, it will sound wrong. Okay, so first of all, we're looking at the pattern which make up key signatures, how to work out a key signature. Every key signature will have 7 different notes. Okay, that's just a given. That's in every key signature. Key signatures will either be major or minor. Okay, and to work out any key signature, the pattern is tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Now, we looked at tones and semitones last week a little bit. Okay, so if you can't remember this about tones and semitones, just go back and recap that video first, pause this one, then come back to this once you recapped tones and semitones. Okay, it's all to do with distances between notes. Now, I can work out any key signature. First of all, I know all the different notes, all the different relations between those notes. Okay, but let's pick an easy one. First of all, let's just do C. Okay, I know that a tone away from C is D. I know that a tone away from D is E. I know a semitone away from E is F. Tone away from F is G. Tone away from G is A. Tone away from A is B. And the semitone gets me back to C. So here's my 7 different notes. Okay, and then after that 7th different note, I go back to the start again. In the key of C major, we're only looking at major key signatures, first of all. In the key of C major, these are my 7 different notes. Okay, and that pattern, tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, is the same pattern for every single major key signature. So I can pick a completely different one. Let's go really left field, let's go A flat. Okay, and we looked at accidentals last week as well. So if you can't remember accidentals, go back to that video, recap that before you come back to this. Okay, I know that a tone away from A flat, I know that is B flat. I know a tone away from B flat is C. I know a tone, semitone away from C is D flat. I then go up a tone to E flat. I then go up another tone to F, up another tone to G, and up a final semitone gets me back to A flat. And there are my 7 different notes before I get back to my home note or my home key. Okay, this is home. You might hear that phrase in music. Okay, the first note in a key signature is what we refer to as home. Okay, because it's the one which sounds like home in the piece of music. It's the note or the chord which, when you play it, it sounds the most important. It's generally going to be the note or the chord that the piece ends on. It might even be the note of the piece, the note or the chord that the piece starts on. Okay, but it sounds like the most important one is our home chord or our home note, and it's generally, or it's always, the first note in our key signature. No matter what key signature we're in, the home note, the home chord is the most important one. Okay, so that's the pattern: tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. What I want you to do now is, if I flip this over, okay, I've written out all the different notes we've got: A sharp or B flat. These are the same note. Okay, they're the same note, just 2 different names. B, C, C sharp, D flat again, same note, just 2 different names. D sharp and E flat, E, F, F sharp or G flat, same note, just different names, G, and then finally G sharp or A flat. I'm going to use that rule of tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone to work out these three different major key signatures. Okay, I want you to work out G major, I want you to work out F major, and I want you to work out D major. Okay, so use what I just did when we talked about C major and A flat major. Okay, work out what the notes in these three key signatures are. Okay, so the distance between A and A sharp or B flat is a semitone. Okay, the distance between A and B is a tone. The distance between B and C is a semitone because they're right next to each other, but the distance between B and C sharp or D flat is a tone. Okay, so there should be 7 different notes in G major, F major, D major, and I want you to work out what those 7 different notes are. Pause this video and do that now. Okay, so hopefully you've worked out the 7 different notes for G major, F major, and D major. You should have paused the video and just done that. There is one thing I did not mention, and I want to see if anyone's fallen into that sort of trap. What it is when you're working out notes in a key signature, let's go back to when I did A flat. Okay, so there's my A flat. First rule is you go up a tone. Well, there's nothing next to it, but if we go back to the start, A to A flat to A is a semitone, but I want to go up a tone, so I go A flat to B flat. Now, I don't want to say A sharp, okay, because I do not want 2 notes which fall in the same space on the stave. Okay, so if I move this down a bit, so you can see all 5 lines. So here is where A would be, okay, but it's a flat, so I've got to put the little flat symbol in front of it. Now if I was to then go to A sharp, I'd have to put a sharp symbol there. That is far too confusing when it's written down. Okay, you want to make sure you do not repeat any notes on the stave. So when I'm doing A flat, I do A flat, B flat, I go up another tone to C. I then don't do C sharp because then I'd have 2 notes on the same space as C. D flat, E flat, another tone up to F, another tone up to G, and then I go back to A flat again. Okay, you don't want any notes on the same space, so I could have done C and C sharp here, okay? So I could have done C and C sharp, but that's far too confusing, so I do D flat, so it's on a different space. Because then otherwise, if I had C sharp, I'd then be jumping up to E flat, and there'd be nothing on this line. It's a lot neater, it's a lot easier if there's a different note on every line, on every space. Okay? Okay, now what I want you to do is I want you to draw out a stave, draw out the treble clef, and then I want you to draw on that treble clef all of the notes which you've put down for your G major key signature, then your F major key signature, then your D major key signature, and make sure you put in the correct sharps or flat notes. So if you think there should be an A sharp somewhere, you're going to write a little sharp symbol in front of it. If you think there should be a D flat somewhere, you're going to write a little D flat. Okay, you're going to write a little flat symbol in front of it. Okay? Now, you might have heard of this next thing before. It's more stuff to do with key signatures. It's called the circle of fifths. Okay, if you didn't, make sure you copied that down before I rubbed it out. So go back to earlier on in the video and copy it out, especially the bit about tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Okay, but what we're going to do now is circle of fifths. I'm not going to draw all that properly. Okay, you can Google it. It might not make much sense straight away. Okay, but the circle of fifths is basically, if I put down the notes in C major, they are C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C. I could always number them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. C major has got 0 sharps or flats. Okay. G major, which I'm now telling you, so hopefully you've worked out the notes in G major because this is me going through them now. Don't change your answers if you got it wrong, just send it to me anyway. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and back to G again. They have got 1 sharp. Now G is the 5th, what we call degree of C major. G is the 5th degree of that, and G has got 1 sharp. If we then work out the key signature for D major, which is the 5th degree of G, it is D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, back to D. And that's got 2 sharps. Okay, let's see what happens again. If I then go on to A, which is the 5th degree, you can probably tell what's going to happen. I have got in A major 1, 2, 3 sharps, and you can hopefully start seeing the pattern that is occurring here. Okay, it is the circle of fifths. So the 5th degree of C is G, 5th degree of G is D, 5th degree of D is A, 5th degree of A is E. It follows that same pattern. Okay, so if I then work out E, you can see the pattern. Whatever is the 5th degree of E, we'll make the next one. E will have 4 sharps, the next one will have 5 sharps, and so on until you get to 7 sharps. Okay, but that's just sharps. Now, flats are slightly different. It'll be the 4th this time to work out flats. Okay, don't worry about changing the name to circle of fourths. It doesn't. Okay, it's just going to be the 4th degree of the scale this time. So let's work out F. And again, you should have done this earlier on. Don't change your answers. But I've got F, G, A, B flat. Not A sharp, it should be B flat. C, D, E, and then I go back to F again. And I've got 1 flat note. If I then work out the 4th degree of that, B flat, it's the same thing. B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G, A, and back to B flat. Again, I've got 2 different flats in there. Okay, it's the same pattern, but this time on the 4th degree of the scale. Now, so far I've just been looking at what notes are in our key signatures. Okay, but more than notes, we get chords in music as well. So I'm going to keep the key of C major there. Okay, but we're now going to look at chords. So this is going to be capital M for major, D, small m for minor, E is a small m for minor, F, big M for major, G is major, A is minor, B is a weird one, it's very different, okay? So, 1st degree of the scale in a major key signature is always major chord. 2nd degree is always minor, 3rd degree is always minor, the 4th is always major, the 5th is always major, the 6th is always minor, the 7th is always a bit weird, okay? So in a piece of music, generally, there are some exceptions, generally you'll get no more than 6 different chords, okay? And you can work out a key of a piece of music based on what chords they're using. So I know if I put the key of D major, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp. Those are my 7 different notes, my 7 different chords. That's going to be major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, and a weird one. Now, there is a song called Bad Moon Rising, okay, which only uses 3 chords. It uses D, G, and A, all of them major, and that's it. So I can work out from that song, using just the chords D major, G major, and A major, that it's in the key of D major, because there will be no other key signature which will have the major chords of D, G, and A. Okay, G major will not have it, A major will not have it. Okay, the only key with these 3 major chords is D major. Okay, let's take another song and another key signature. Okay, I know that the song 3 Little Birds by Bob Marley only uses the chords A major, D major, and E major. So if I know it uses those chords, I can work out what key signature is. I can do it by trial and error. Okay, I can start on D and I can work out the degrees of the scale and see if 1, 4, and 5 would be D, E, and A. Okay, I could then, if it's not that, I could try it on E, I could try it on A. At first, that is the simplest way of doing it, okay? And the more you do these sorts of things, work out what notes, what chords are in which key signatures, the more you do it, the easier it will be. And once you really know your key signatures and what notes are in them and what chords are in them, you can see any piece of music, you can see what chords it uses, and you can say straight away, that piece of music is in G flat major, or that piece of music is in E flat minor. Okay, so as soon as you know all the notes that make up each key signature, the sooner you know that, the easier it will be to work out what key a piece of music is in. So what I'm going to do now is, next exercise I want you to do is I'm going to give you a few more major key signatures I want you to work out. I want you to work out E flat major. I want you to work out E major. I want you to work out A flat major, B major. I want you to work out those 4. I want you to tell me A, what notes, and make sure you get the correct sharp or flat if it needs it. B, draw them on a stave. And C, which will be major chords. Okay, so that'll be 1, 4, and 5. That's what we need to do for these 4 key signatures. So work out what notes make up these 4 key signatures, draw those notes on a stave, and then just identify which of those 7 different notes will be the ones which make up the major chords. The next thing we're going to do in the next video is going to be on intervals. Now, we did some of that already, but that's going to be a bit more in-depth into further intervals. So make sure you've done everything on key signatures, all the exercises, and then take a picture of it before we move on to the next video.